Hey friends, Ash here with Gents. Hope you're doing well. Today I'm going to be talking to you guys about 5 fragrances that are so strong they will intimidate Godzilla. Yeah, that Godzilla. Godzilla. How does that make sense? I don't know. So they're fragrances that are strong. They've got good projection, good longevity. They're going to make people notice you because if Godzilla's intimidated, everybody else is going to know you're there. Now, to be fair, most fragrances can be really strong, really powerful, assuming you spray them on enough. But these ones, a little bit goes a long way. So let's jump into it. Let's check them out. Now, I know there's going to be at least one person down there in the comments who says, well, actually, for me, this fragrance is weak. Sorry, man. Don't know what to tell you. Off my skin, all of these are really strong. Let's get things kicked off with the Paco Rabanne Invictus Intense. Yeah, good old Invictus. Love it. This one's got whiskey, amber, and ambergris, which is really ambroxan or an ambroxan type aroma chemical, along with orange blossom and salt as some of the notes in the fragrance. Thankfully, it's not quite as bubblegummy as the original Invictus because this one tempers things with that bit of whiskey to give you a boozy touch. It makes the fragrance a little bit better for fall and winter time than the original Invictus, better for an evening out, and it retains that powerful strength. While this one doesn't get rid of the bubblegummy sweetness that Invictus has completely, it reins it in a little bit, and then the whiskey adds a touch of booziness and also a bit more sweetness. Overall though, it is a better fragrance in my opinion than the original Invictus. It's better for a night out, better for a date. It's better in fall, better in winter than the original. It has a lot of versatility just like the normal Invictus does. And it's maybe slightly more grown up. Slightly. The performance here is great. It projects, it lasts, it grabs attention. And good old Godzilla is not going to want to catch a big noseful of that Invictus Intense. Now this next one is a cheapie. You can pick this up for really next to nothing. It is Bogart City Tower. Now, like I told you guys, this fragrance is pretty cheap. You can tell that when you look at the presentation. Not that it looks bad, just when you get it and hold it in your hand, and especially when you spray it. Check this out. You realize, yeah, this doesn't cost so much. That atomizer sucks. I don't know how well that came across on camera, but it's not good. So we run into a potential problem here. When you have inexpensive fragrances, cheap fragrances, and I'm talking really cheap, and the performance is great, usually that's a bad thing because the fragrance is going to come across as just a friggin' chemical bomb, a mess. That when you smell it, you're gonna think, man, I think that smells terrible. But hopefully the people around me think it smells good. They don't. They hate it too. That's the problem you run into, just an absolute chemical warhead that is gonna make everything around you smell putrid. That's gonna make people look at you and run the other direction, you know, grabbing children in their arms as they run. Go, go! You know, this cloud coming behind them overdevelops them and they're gone. They're gone, just evaporated, like Thanos snapped them out of existence because of your god-awful fragrance. Thankfully, City Tower is not one of those fragrances. When you spray it on, it does have a definite cheapness to it. It's fresh, it's sweet, it's spicy in the opening. As it dries down though, it gets darker, it gets more mature, more interesting, more mysterious, you could say. There's incense, pink pepper, oud, and leather as some of the notes in the fragrance, and it does share a passing similarity to fragrances like Bulgari Black and Midnight in Paris from Van Cleef & Arpels. Rest in peace. We've also got a little bit of cardamom in here, which adds a nice little touch of sweet spice as it dries down. And City Tower overall is a good fragrance for the cost. It's really nice and the performance is great. It lasts a long time off my skin, projects heavily as well. The atomizer could use some work. You're gonna have to spray it 2-3 times to get a solid amount that you would get maybe from one spray of a better atomizer. But that's potentially a good thing because maybe then you won't overspray it. Now this next one's been going up in price, unfortunately. It is Ferragamo Uomo Signature. Once upon a time, you could get this for about $30, $35 at discounters. As of this video, looks like it's going for $60, $65, somewhere in that range. So roughly double. That is not good. I'm not a big fan of that. That being said, even at that price, $60, $65, Uomo Signature is worth it in my opinion. The stuff's fantastic. Tonka, leather, cinnamon, and coffee are some of the notes in this fragrance. It is a huge compliment puller, absolutely fantastic for fall and winter evenings. Great date night fragrance, great night out fragrance. Absolutely adore this stuff. There's a small touch of citrus in the opening as well, which kind of holds your hand a little bit as it leads you into the mid and the dry down, makes it a little more accessible for some people. And that is one of the few times where a fragrance house takes the original fragrance DNA as it is, makes a few tweaks and changes, makes it a little bit deeper, richer, and have more depth, and improves upon it. The most well-known fragrance probably that does that is the one Eau de Parfum that took the one Eau de Toilette and tweaked it, changed it, made it better. This is basically the same thing happening with Ferragamo Uomo. So Uomo Signature, even though the price is going up, if you want something that's gonna grab attention and project and last all night long, absolutely check it out. Now this next one is another one that has gone up in price, unfortunately, a good amount. This one at discounters I think is in the $120 range now. Yikes. I've not talked about it in a long time. It's Ralph Lauren Supreme Leather. Now Lauren came out with Supreme Oud, Supreme Leather, and Supreme Cashmere, and actually I really like their Supreme line, if you want to call it that. I think that they're very well done and frankly more interesting than most of the flankers that Ralph Lauren has done in their polo lines, because a lot of those are boring. They shouldn't exist. Now I know they've got their fans, otherwise they wouldn't be out there. They wouldn't be making these new flankers, but some of them I just don't care about. This one is not super complex. It's not something that's going to blow your mind with all sorts of changes and nuances and all of this. No, it's just a very well done designer leather fragrance. Actually an upper echelon designer leather fragrance. On top of that leather, you've got saffron, honey, and tonka. Those are the main things that you're gonna pick up. So the saffron's gonna give you a nice little spicy touch, but basically honey dripped all over it, giving it this roundness, this softness, this sweetness, and then tonka giving you a nice warm base as well. Unfortunately, becoming more difficult to find, hence the increased price. But if you're a big fan of Ralph Lauren, if you're a fan of leather fragrances, especially extremely wearable designer ones, check that one out because the performance is fantastic. And even though the price has gone up, absolutely, I think you should own the bottle. All right, last one. And this one is a honker of a bottle. This is a big Chungus bottle, okay? It's got some heft to it, and frankly, it is ugly. Kind of Frankensteinian in nature, Frankenstein's monster rather. It's yeah, it's a bottle only a mother could love. It's Animale Animale for men. I hate the way that looks. Yeah, disgusting. Now, maybe it looks cool on camera, but when you hold this in your hand, this is just a brick, essentially. This is a fragrance brick. You can throw this at somebody. If it hits them on the corner, they're gonna die. You're gonna go to jail for the rest of your life. It's not worth it, frankly. Now, this is not an expensive fragrance, but I cheaped out. Even though the fragrance itself costs next to nothing. FragranceNet had some unboxed bottles on their website. That's what I got. And they, in their infinite wisdom, stuck a sticker right on the back of the bottle. So now I've just got this ugly sticker that I could not take off. So cool, thanks FragranceNet. It's got honey, pineapple, vanilla, and tobacco as some of the notes in the fragrance. It's got a similarity to a bunch of Mugler scents, actually. This could be a Terry Mugler fragrance. Nobody would bat an eye, legitimately. It's got a little similarity to Angel, similarity to Amen, similarity to Pure Havane. Yeah, 3 different Mugler fragrances, and this one's got a little bit of each one of those kind of mixed together and popped into a bottle. For the price, this stuff bangs. It is good, even though the bottle is horrifically ugly and the atomizer is trash and the name is maybe not the best on earth. What's inside here, which is what matters, this wonderful yellow pea shade of liquid. Oh, it smells good. Again, when we're talking about the price that you pay for this, one of the best in its weight class. We'll say that. So there we go. 5 strong fragrances. Strong enough to intimidate Godzilla. You spray enough of this stuff on, when he walks by and catches a whiff of that with his sensitive schnoz, yeah, he's not gonna be you, he's going the other way. And because you made Godzilla go the other way, maybe somebody's gonna take notice of that in your fantastic scent profile. Maybe you'll catch a phone number out of it. So there we go, guys. Kind of a goofy video. Thanks for hanging out with me today. Thanks for your support. Stay safe out there. See you tomorrow with another fragrance video. See you guys.